Lisa Martinez opened her eyes and immediately knew she was in trouble. The ceiling above her was made of some kind of smooth metal that glowed with a soft blue light. The walls around her were the same material, forming a small room with no windows, and only one door. She tried to sit up and felt a sharp pain in her left shoulder. Her uniform was torn and dirty, with dark stains that she hoped were not her own blood. The last thing she remembered was the explosion. Her small scout ship had been flying near the Rigel system when 3 large alien vessels appeared out of nowhere. She had tried to run, but their weapons were too powerful. Her ship's hull had cracked like an egg, and then everything went black. Now she was here, wherever here was. Lisa stood up slowly and walked to the door. It had no handle or buttons that she could see. She pushed against it, but it would not move. The surface was warm to the touch and hummed quietly with some kind of energy. Great, she said to herself. I'm trapped. Lisa had heard the stories about what happened to human prisoners. The Zephyrians were not known for being kind to their enemies. They were tall, cat-like aliens with sharp teeth and claws. Their ships were fast and their weapons were deadly. Most humans who were captured by them were never seen again. She walked around the small room looking for anything that might help her escape. The floor was the same smooth metal as everything else. There were no vents, no loose panels, no weaknesses she could find. In one corner there was a small raised platform that might have been a bed. In another corner there was what looked like a toilet, though it was shaped differently than human ones. Lisa sat down on the platform and tried to think. She was Lieutenant Lisa Martinez of the Earth Defense Corps. She had been on a routine scouting mission when the Zephyrians found her. Her job was to watch for enemy ships and report back to the main fleet. Instead, she had become a prisoner. She wondered if anyone knew she was missing yet. Her ship had an emergency beacon, but she did not know if it had time to send a signal before the explosion. Her commander, Captain Brown, would notice when she failed to report in, but by then, it might be too late. The door suddenly made a soft, clicking sound. Lisa jumped to her feet and backed against the far wall. The door slid open with a quiet hiss and a figure stepped into the room. It was definitely a Zephyrian. He was tall, maybe 7 feet, with fur that looked like silver and black stripes. His face was similar to a cat's, but more intelligent and expressive. His ears were pointed and moved slightly as he looked at her. He wore what appeared to be a military uniform, dark blue with silver markings on the shoulders. Lisa expected him to growl or show his teeth. Instead, he stood quietly and studied her with bright yellow eyes. She could see intelligence there and something else she had not expected. Curiosity. "You are awake," he said in perfect English. His voice was deep but not threatening. "Good. I was beginning to wonder if the medical scanner had made an error." Lisa pressed herself against the wall and said nothing. She had been trained not to give information to enemies no matter what they did to her. The Zephyrian noticed her fear and took a step back. "I am Commander Kale of the ship Starwind. You are aboard my vessel. What is your name and rank?" "I don't have to tell you anything," Lisa said, trying to keep her voice steady. Kale tilted his head slightly like a cat hearing an interesting sound. "That is true. According to your military codes, you are required to give only your name, rank, and identification number. But I am not here to interrogate you in the traditional sense." He moved to the center of the room but came no closer to her. "You were flying alone in a small ship, a scout vessel, I believe. Your mission was to observe our fleet movements and report to your commanders." Lisa said nothing. "I am correct, yes?" Kyle continued. "It does not matter. We detected your ship several hours before we chose to capture it. Your technology is interesting, but not particularly advanced compared to ours." He paused and seemed to be thinking about something. "Tell me, Lieutenant Martinez, what do you know about Zephyrian customs regarding prisoners?" The way he said her name made her stomach drop. He already knew who she was. "How do you know my name?" "Your ship's computer was not completely destroyed. We recovered some data files." Kale's ears moved forward slightly. "You did not answer my question. What do you expect will happen to you?" Lisa took a deep breath. There was no point in pretending she did not know. You will torture me for information. Then you will execute me publicly to frighten other humans. To her surprise, Kale made a sound that might have been laughter. Yes, that is what usually happens. My people believe that fear is an effective tool of war. Show the enemy what happens to those who oppose us, and perhaps they will surrender more quickly. He walked closer to her, and Lisa tensed. But he stopped, several feet away, and sat down on the floor, making himself lower than her. The gesture seemed non-threatening, almost respectful. But I am not interested in following usual customs, Kyle said. I have been studying your species for many years, Lieutenant Martinez. Humans fascinate me in ways that my superiors would find disturbing. What do you mean? You will find out soon enough. But first, you must be hungry and thirsty. When did you last eat? Lisa was surprised by the question. She was hungry now that he mentioned it. Yesterday morning, I think, before my mission. Kyle stood up and walked to the door. I will bring you food and water, real food, not the paste we usually give to prisoners. While I am gone, consider this. I am offering you a choice that no human prisoner has ever been given before. What choice? Kyle stopped at the doorway and looked back at her. The choice between death and something far more interesting. Think about what you value most, Lieutenant Martinez. I believe you will find my offer enlightening. He left the room, and the door slid shut behind him. Lisa stood alone, more confused than frightened now. Whatever she had expected from her, capture. This was not it. The Zephyrian commander seemed genuinely interested in her as more than just a source of military information. She sat back down on the platform and tried to make sense of what had just happened. Kale had been polite, almost friendly. He had not threatened her or tried to intimidate her. Instead, he had talked about studying humans and offered her food. Lisa did not know what to make of it. But one thing was certain. Her situation was far more complicated than she had thought. Kale returned an hour later carrying a tray of food. Lisa watched him carefully as he set it down on the floor between them. The smell made her stomach growl loudly. There were fruits she did not recognize, some kind of cooked meat, and what looked like bread. A clear container held water that sparkled like it had bubbles in it. Eat, Kyle said, sitting down across from her again. The food is safe for humans. I made sure of that. Lisa did not move toward the tray. How do I know? You haven't poisoned it? If I wanted you dead, Lieutenant Martinez, you would already be dead. I have no need for poison. Kyle picked up one of the fruits and took a bite. See? Perfectly safe. Lisa's hunger won over her caution. She moved to the food and began to eat. The fruit was sweet and juicy, better than anything she had tasted in months. The meat was tender and had a flavor she could not identify but liked. Even the bread was soft and warm. This is good, she said without thinking. I am pleased you enjoy it. Zephyrian food is usually too rich for human taste, but our cooks have learned to adjust recipes for the few human guests we have had. Guests? Lisa stopped eating. Is that what you call prisoners? Kale's ears flicked. Not exactly, but you are not exactly a prisoner either. At least not in the way you think. He stood up and walked to the wall. When he touched it, part of the surface became transparent like a window. Lisa could see they were in space, surrounded by stars. In the distance, she could make out the shapes of other ships. We are part of a fleet heading toward your outer colonies, Kale said. In 3 days, we will attack the mining station at Kepler 7. Many humans will die. Lisa felt her heart sink. Kepler 7 had thousands of people living there. Miners, their families, scientists, all defenseless against a Zephyrian attack. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to understand the situation. Your people and mine have been fighting for 5 years now. Both sides have lost many lives. Both sides believe they are fighting for survival. Kyle turned back to face her. But I think there might be another way. A way that does not require so much death. What are you talking about? Sit down, Lieutenant Martinez. What I am about to tell you will sound strange, but I need you to listen carefully. Lisa sat back down, still holding a piece of fruit. Kyle remained standing, like he was giving a lecture. My people are very old. We have existed for thousands of years, longer than humans. In that time, we have become very good at war, very good at conquest, very good at survival, but we have lost something important. What have you lost? Joy. Wonder. The ability to feel true pleasure in simple things. Kyle's voice became quieter. We have machines that can stimulate our brains to feel good. We have drugs that can make us happy. We have technology that can create any experience we want, but none of it feels real anymore. Lisa frowned. I don't understand what this has to do with me. I have been studying humans for 3 years. I have watched your entertainment programs, read your books, listened to your music. I have observed human prisoners and tried to understand what makes you different from us. Kyle began to pace around the small room. Humans feel things deeply. You can find joy in a sunset, even when you are afraid of tomorrow. You can laugh when you are in pain. You can love someone even when you know you will lose them. This is amazing to me. So you think we're interesting? That doesn't explain why I'm here instead of being tortured. I want to make a deal with you, Kyle said, stopping in front of her. I will show you pleasures that no human has ever experienced. Technologies that can make you feel things beyond your imagination. Sights and sounds and sensations that will make your best human experiences seem pale in comparison. Lisa set down her food. And what do you want in return? Teach me how to feel the way humans feel. Show me how you find meaning in small things. Help me understand what my people have lost. You're crazy, Lisa said. I'm just a soldier. I don't know anything about philosophy or feelings or whatever you think makes humans special. You are exactly what I need, Kale replied. You are not a scientist or a diplomat. You are an ordinary human living an ordinary life. That is what I want to understand. Lisa stood up and backed away from him. This is some kind of trick. You're trying to get me to trust you, so I'll tell you military secrets. I already know your military secrets, your encryption codes, your fleet positions, your battle plans. We captured all of that from your ship's computer. I do not need you for information. About your war, Kale moved closer to her but slowly, like he was approaching a frightened animal. I need you for something much more valuable. I need you to teach me how to be alive in the way that humans are alive. And if I refuse, then you will be executed tomorrow morning, as is traditional for human prisoners. Your death will be broadcast to your colonies as a warning. It will be quick, but it will serve no purpose except to frighten your people. Lisa felt cold despite the warm air in the room. So I don't really have a choice. You always have a choice, but some choices are better than others. Kyle sat down again and looked at her with those bright yellow eyes. I am offering you a chance to live. More than that, I am offering you a chance to experience things that no human has ever experienced. In return, all I ask is that you help me understand what it means to be human. How long would this take? I do not know. Perhaps weeks, perhaps months, however long it takes for me to learn what I need to learn. Lisa walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth and her family and her friends. They probably thought she was dead already. Maybe it was better that way. What kind of pleasures are you talking about? She asked. I can show you what it feels like to fly through the atmosphere of a gas giant. I can let you experience colors that human eyes cannot normally see. I can give you the sensation of swimming through liquid starlight. Kale's voice became excited. I can show you the birth of stars, the music of planets, the touch of solar wind. Lisa turned back to him. And all you want is for me to explain human feelings? Yes, but not just explain them. I want you to help me feel them. I want to understand why humans can be happy even when they are sad, why you fight for things you might never achieve, why you create art and music when you could be doing more practical things. Lisa was quiet for a long time. Finally, she asked, What happens when you're done learning? When you don't need me anymore? Kyle was also quiet for a moment. I do not know. That is a problem for the future. Right now, I am offering you life instead of death, wonder instead of pain. Will you accept? Lisa looked at the tray of food, at the comfortable room, at the alien who was offering her things she could not even imagine. She thought about Kepler-7 and all the people who were going to die in 3 days. She thought about her own death, which was scheduled for tomorrow morning. "I'll think about it," she said finally. Kyle nodded. "That is all I can ask. I will return tomorrow for your answer. Sleep well, Lieutenant Martinez." He left her alone with her thoughts and her impossible choice. Lisa did not sleep much that night. She lay on the platform that served as a bed and stared at the glowing ceiling. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the faces of the people on Kepler-7. Families going about their normal lives, not knowing that death was coming for them in 2 days. She also thought about her own family back on Earth, her mother who worked as a teacher, her younger brother Danny, who was studying to be an engineer. They would get a letter from the military telling them she was missing in action. They would hope for months that she might still be alive somewhere. When Cale returned the next morning, Lisa was sitting by the window watching the stars. "Have you decided?" he asked. Lisa turned to face him. "I have questions first." "Ask them." "If I agree to this, will you call off the attack on Kepler-7? Kyle's ears flattened against his head. "I cannot do that. I am only one commander in a large fleet. The attack has been planned for months. Even if I wanted to stop it, I do not have that authority." "Then what's the point? You're asking me to help you understand humanity while you're destroying it. I am trying to find a different path forward. But change takes time, Lieutenant Martinez. I cannot save those people on Kepler-7, but perhaps what you teach me can save others in the future." Lisa felt anger rising in her chest. "That's not good enough. It is the best I can offer." Kale sat down across from her. "Do you want to die for nothing? Or do you want to live and maybe make a difference?" Lisa was quiet for a long time. Finally, she said, "Show me what you're talking about, these pleasures you promised. I want to see them before I decide anything." Kale nodded. "That is reasonable. Come with me." He led her out of the small room and down a corridor. Lisa was surprised by how beautiful the ship was inside. The walls were covered with patterns that looked like flowing water. Soft lights moved along the ceiling like slow lightning. Everything was clean and elegant. They passed other Zephyrians in the hallway. Some stared at Lisa with curiosity. Others looked angry, showing their teeth. Kyle said something to them in his own language, and they moved away. "They do not approve of my project," Kale explained. "Most of my people think humans are nothing more than violent animals." "What do you think?" "I think you are the most interesting species we have ever encountered." They came to a large room filled with strange machines. In the center was something that looked like a chair surrounded by glowing screens and wires. "This is a neural interface," Kale said. "It can send signals directly to your brain to create any experience I program into it. It is completely safe. We use similar devices for training and entertainment." Lisa looked at the chair suspiciously. "How do I know it won't hurt me?" "You do not. You must trust me." Kyle walked to one of the machines and began touching controls. "But I will show you something simple first. Something that cannot harm you." The screens around the chair began to glow brighter. Images appeared on them, but Lisa could not understand what they meant. "Sit in the chair," Kale said. Lisa hesitated. Once she sat down, she would be completely at his mercy. But she was already at his mercy anyway. She sat down. Kale attached something that looked like a thin crown to her head. It was warm but not uncomfortable. "Close your eyes," he said. Lisa closed her eyes and suddenly she was flying. Not in a ship or a plane, but flying with her own body through clouds that sparkled like diamonds. The air around her was warm and sweet. Below her was an ocean that changed colors as she watched, shifting from blue to purple to gold. She could feel the wind on her skin, could taste the moisture in the air. It felt completely real, more real than dreams. She laughed out loud from pure joy. "This is the sky of my home world," Kale's voice said in her mind. "This is how it feels to fly as my people once did, before we built ships and forgot how to use our wings." Lisa opened her eyes and found herself back in the chair. The experience had lasted only a few minutes, but it felt like hours. Her heart was beating fast with excitement. That was incredible, she said. And that was only the beginning. Kyle removed the device from her head. I can show you the birth of galaxies, the songs that planets sing, the taste of starlight, things that exist but that no human senses can normally perceive. Lisa stood up from the chair. Her legs felt shaky. Why can't your people feel things like this anymore? We modified ourselves too much, made ourselves perfect for war, perfect for survival. But we lost the ability to appreciate beauty for its own sake. Kyle looked sad. We can create these experiences with machines, but they feel empty to us. We know they are not real. But you felt something when you showed me your home world. I could hear it in your voice. Kale's ears perked up. Yes. Watching you experience it made me remember what it was like when I was young, before the modifications. That is why I need you. Lisa Martinez. You can feel things that we have forgotten how to feel. Lisa noticed he had used her first name. What do you want me to do exactly? Share your experiences with me. Tell me what it feels like to be human. Let me observe your reactions to beauty, to joy, to sadness. Help me understand why humans fight so hard to protect things that seem unimportant. Like what? Like art. Like music. Like love. Kale began pacing again. Your people will fight to the death to protect a painting or a song. You will sacrifice yourselves for people you have never met. You create stories and poems about things that never happened. My people find this behavior irrational. Maybe it is irrational, Lisa said, but it's what makes life worth living. Yes, that is exactly what I want to understand. Lisa walked to one of the screens and watched the strange patterns moving across. Teresa, if I agree to this, what happens to me when you're done learning? I do not know. Perhaps by then things will have changed enough that you can go home. Perhaps you will want to stay and help others of my people learn what you have taught me. Or perhaps you'll get tired of me and have me executed. That is possible, Kyle admitted. But it is also possible that what you teach me will change everything. Is that not worth the risk? Lisa thought about the people on Kepler 7 again. She thought about the war that was killing humans and Zephyrians alike. She thought about the incredible experience she had just had flying through alien skies. I want something in return, she said. What? I want you to let me record messages to my family. I want them to know I'm alive, even if I can never go home. Kale considered this. That could be dangerous. If those messages were intercepted, then encode them, hide them. I don't care how you do it, but I want my family to know I didn't just disappear. Very well, I can arrange that. Lisa took a deep breath. Then I accept your offer. I'll help you learn to be human. Kyle's eyes brightened. You will not regret this decision. I hope not, Lisa said. When do we start? Now. First, I want you to tell me about a time when you were truly happy. Not just pleased or satisfied, but filled with joy. And I want you to explain to me why that moment was special. Lisa sat back down in the chair. That's going to take a while. We have time, Kyle said. All the time we need. As Lisa began to tell him about the day her brother graduated from school, she wondered if she had just made the best decision of her life or the worst. But for the first time since her capture, she felt something other than fear. She felt hope. 3 weeks had passed since Lisa agreed to Kale's proposal. Every day brought new wonders and new understanding between them. Kale had shown her things that no human had ever experienced. She had tasted the sweetness of solar wind, felt the rhythm of a planet's heartbeat, and seen colors that had no names in any human language. In return, Lisa shared her memories and feelings with Kyle. She told him about birthdays and holidays, about the smell of rain on summer evenings, about the way her mother hummed while cooking dinner. She explained why humans kept pets even though they served no practical purpose, why they wrote love letters to people who might never read them, why they cried at movies about fictional characters. Slowly, Kale began to change. Lisa noticed it, first in small ways. He started bringing her flowers from the ship's garden, not because she needed them, but because he enjoyed seeing her smile. He asked questions about human music and spent hours listening to the songs she remembered. He even tried to laugh, though it came out more like a purring sound. But their peaceful routine was shattered when Major Vex came to visit. Lisa was in the neural interface chair, experiencing what it felt like to swim through a nebula when the door to the room burst open. A large Zephyrian stormed in, his fur dark gray with black spots. His eyes were cold and angry. "Kale, what is the meaning of this?" Vex demanded in English, probably for Lisa's benefit. Kale quickly shut down the interface and helped Lisa out of the chair. "Major Vex, I was not expecting you." Obviously. Vex walked around Lisa like she was an interesting piece of equipment. "The crew is talking, Kale. They say you spend all your time with this human. They say you have forgotten your duties as a commander." "My duties are being performed adequately." "Are they? When was the last time you attended a strategy meeting? When did you last review the battle plans for our next target?" Lisa felt a chill. She had hoped that maybe Kale was losing interest in the war, but apparently there were more attacks planned. "I have been conducting important research," Kale said. "Research that could change how we approach this conflict." Vex laughed, but it was not a pleasant sound. "Research? You mean playing games with a pet human?" "She is not a pet," Kyle said, and Lisa heard anger in his voice for the first time. "Then what is she? A colleague? A friend?" Vex moved closer, to Kale. "You are becoming soft, old friend. This human is poisoning your mind with her weakness. You do not understand what I have learned from her. Then explain it to me. What has this creature taught you that is worth risking your career? Your reputation, your life?" Kale looked at Lisa, then back at Vex. "She has taught me that we are dying inside, that in becoming perfect warriors, we have lost the ability to truly live." "Nonsense. We are stronger than we have ever been. We are conquering the galaxy. And what will we do when we have conquered everything? What will we have left when there are no more enemies to fight?" Vex's tail switched back and forth, a sign of extreme agitation. "We will rule. We will bring order to the universe. Empty order. Cold order. Order without joy or beauty or meaning." Kyle gestured toward the neural interface. "I can create any experience with that machine, but it feels hollow because I have forgotten how to appreciate real experiences. This human can find wonder in a simple flower, can feel joy from hearing an old song. We have lost that ability." "Good. Those feelings make a warrior weak. Do they? Or do they make life worth fighting for?" Lisa watched the argument with growing fear. She could see that Vex was getting angrier, and she remembered that Zephyrians settled disputes with violence. "You have been contaminated," Vex said. "This experiment ends now. The human will be executed tomorrow, as should have happened weeks ago." "No," Kyle said firmly. "You dare to refuse a direct order from your superior?" "If necessary, yes." Vex's claws extended from his fingers. "Then, you have chosen treason. I have chosen a different path." The two Zephyrians circled each other, and Lisa realized they were about to fight. She had to do something. "Wait," she said loudly. Both aliens turned to look at her. "Major Vex, before you kill me, let me ask you something. What do you think humans fight for? Territory, resources, the same things any species fights for?" "No," Lisa said. "We fight for each other. We fight to protect the people we love, the places that matter to us, the ideas we believe in. Even when we know we might lose, we fight because some things are worth dying for." Typical human irrationality, is it? Lisa walked closer to Vex, ignoring the danger. "Your people have been fighting for conquest for so long that you have forgotten what you are trying to protect. You have made yourselves into perfect weapons, but weapons are just tools. What happens to a tool when there is no more work for it to do?" Vex stared at her. "You speak in riddles. I speak in truth. Kale understands what I am saying. Your people are so focused on winning that you have forgotten why winning matters. You have become machines that exist only to make war. We are superior to humans in every way. Are you? Can you write a song that makes someone cry? Can you create art that speaks to the soul? Can you love someone so much that you would die for them without expecting anything in return? Those things are pointless. Those things are what make life meaningful. Lisa looked back at Kale. That is what I have been trying to teach him. Not weakness, but strength. The strength to care about more than just survival. Vex was quiet for a long moment. Even if what you say is true, it changes nothing. Orders are orders. You will die tomorrow. And what will you gain from my death? One less human in a galaxy full of humans? Or will you lose the chance to learn something that could save your entire species from becoming extinct? Extinct? We are the dominant power in this region of space. For now. But what happens when there are no more enemies left to conquer? What happens when your people realize that all their strength and all their technology cannot fill the emptiness inside them? What happens when they start asking what the point of existence is? Vex looked uncomfortable. That will not happen. It is already happening, Kyle said quietly. Suicide rates among our people are increasing. Depression is becoming common, though we try to hide it. Many of our soldiers question why they fight, though they would never admit it openly. You see, Lisa said, your people are already starting to feel the emptiness. The question is whether you want to learn how to fill it, or whether you want to watch your civilization slowly destroy itself from within. Vex was silent for a long time. Finally, he said, "What exactly are you proposing?" Lisa felt a spark of hope. "Give me time to teach others what I have taught Kale. Let me show your people that there is more to existence than conquest and survival. Let me help them remember what it means to truly live." Impossible. The High Command would never agree to such a plan. Then do not tell them. Not yet. Let me work with a small group first. If nothing comes of it, you can execute me then. But if I can help even a few of your people find meaning beyond war, imagine what that could mean for the future. Vex looked at Kyle. "And you support this madness?" "I have experienced what she offers," Kyle said. "For the first time in years, I feel alive. Truly alive. Is that not worth exploring?" Vex walked to the window and stared out at the stars. Lisa held her breath, waiting for his decision. 1 month, he said finally. "You have 1 month to prove that this human can offer us something worthwhile. If you fail, both of you will face execution for treason." "And if we succeed?" Kyle asked. "Then we will see. But do not expect miracles, old friend. Some things cannot be changed." After Vex left, Lisa and Kale stood together in silence. "Thank you," Kale said. "You may have saved both our lives. Or I may have just delayed our deaths by a month. Perhaps. But now we have a chance to do something that has never been attempted before. We have a chance to bridge the gap between our species." Lisa looked at the neural interface chair, then at the door where Vex had disappeared. 1 month to change an entire civilization. No pressure at all. Kyle made that purring sound that was his version of laughter. "When you put it that way, it sounds impossible. Maybe it is impossible. But like I told Vex, some things are worth trying even when you know you might fail." Very human thinking. "Yes," Lisa said with a small smile. "It is." The month passed quickly. Kale had secretly brought 5 other Zephyrian officers to meet with Lisa. At first they were suspicious and hostile. Captain Zara thought humans were nothing but primitive animals. Lieutenant Wren believed emotions were a disease that made species weak. Commander Tor was convinced that the only good human was a dead human, but Lisa was patient. She shared her memories of Earth with them through the neural interface. She showed them what a child's laughter sounded like, what it felt like to watch a sunrise after a long night, what it meant to hold someone you loved. Slowly, some of them began to understand. Zara was the first to change. She had lost her mate in battle 3 years ago and had felt nothing since then except anger. When Lisa showed her the human concept of grief and healing, Zara began to cry for the first time since childhood. The tears frightened her, but they also brought relief she had not known was possible. Ren discovered joy through human music. He spent hours listening to songs that Lisa hummed from memory, trying to understand why certain combinations of sounds could make someone feel happy or sad. He even tried to create his own music, though he was embarrassed by his first attempts. Tor remained resistant until Lisa shared her memory of her brother's graduation day. The pride she had felt, the love for her family, the hope for the future. Tor had a son serving in the Zephyrian fleet, but he had never thought of him as anything more than a continuation of the family line. For the first time, he understood what it meant to love someone simply because they existed, but their secret meetings were discovered on the last day of the month. Lisa was teaching the group about human art when alarms began sounding throughout the ship. Red lights flashed and a voice over the communication system announced that all crew members should report to battle stations. "What is happening?" Lisa asked. "We are under attack," Kale said, checking a portable communication device. "A human fleet has found us." Through the window, Lisa could see the bright flashes of weapon fire in the distance. Human ships, smaller than the Zephyrian vessels but faster and more agile, were engaging the alien fleet in combat. "I have to go," Kyle said. "My duty requires me to fight." "Wait," Lisa said. She had an idea, but it was dangerous. What if there was another way? "What do you mean? What if instead of fighting we tried to talk to them? What if we could show the human fleet what we have learned here?" Zara made a hissing sound. "Impossible. They are attacking us. They will not listen to words." "They might listen to me," Lisa said. "I am one of them. If I could speak to their commander, explain what has happened here." "You would be killed the moment you appeared on their communication system," Tor said. "They would think you are a traitor, or that we are forcing you to speak." "Maybe, but is it not worth trying?" Kale looked at the other officers. "The alternative is battle. Many will die on both sides and nothing will change." Another explosion lit up the space outside the window. The ship shook slightly. "I have to go to the bridge," Kale said. "Vex will be looking for me." "Then take me with you," Lisa said. "Let me try to contact the human ships." "Absolutely not. If Vex sees you on the bridge during a battle, he will have you shot immediately. Then we will have to convince him that this is worth the risk." Lisa and the group of Zephyrians made their way through the ship toward the bridge. The corridors were full of crew members running to their positions. Some stared at Lisa with hatred, others with curiosity. The bridge was a large room filled with screens showing the battle outside. Vex stood in the center, giving orders to his officers. When he saw Kale enter with Lisa, his eyes blazed with anger. "What is the meaning of this? Why is the human on my bridge?" "She has a proposal that could end this battle without further bloodshed," Kyle said. "The time for proposals is over. We are at war." Another explosion rocked the ship. On the main screen, Lisa could see human fighters weaving between the larger Zephyrian vessels, their weapons creating bright streaks of light. "Let me speak to their commander," Lisa said quickly. "I can tell them what we have learned here. I can show them that some of your people want peace." "They will never believe you." "They might, especially if they see that I am speaking freely, that I have not been forced or brainwashed." Vex looked at the battle display. 3 Zephyrian ships had already taken damage, and 1 human ship was drifting with its engines dead. "Sir," one of the bridge officers called out. "The humans are requesting communication. They want to talk." Vex was surprised. "They want to surrender?" "Unknown, sir. They are simply asking to speak with our commander." Lisa stepped forward. "Please, let me try." Vex stared at her for a long moment. Then he looked at Kale, at Zara and the other officers who had been working with Lisa. He could see something different in their eyes, something he did not quite understand but could not ignore. "Open the communication channel," he ordered. 3T. Main screen changed to show the bridge of a human ship. A woman in a Terran Defense Corps uniform appeared, her face stern and determined. Lisa recognized the insignia of a captain. "This is Captain Brooks of the TDF Horizon. I demand to speak with whoever is in command of this fleet. I am Major Vex. What do you want?" Captain Brooks looked surprised to be speaking with a Zephyrian who spoke perfect English. "We detected a distress signal from one of our missing scouts. Lieutenant Lisa Martinez, we want her returned." Lisa stepped into view of the communication pickup. "Captain, this is Lieutenant Martinez." Brooks stared at her in shock. "Lisa? Are you all right? Are they holding you prisoner?" "It is complicated, Captain. I need to tell you something important. Something that could change everything." "Have they hurt you? Forced you to say anything?" "No, Captain. I am speaking freely. I know this will sound strange, but I have been working with some of the Zephyrians here. We have found a way for our species to understand each other, to find common ground." Brooks looked skeptical. "Lisa, if you are being coerced, I am not." "Captain, what if I told you that some of these aliens want peace as much as we do? What if I told you that their war machine is driven by emptiness, not hatred, and that we might be able to help them find a different path?" "I would say you have been a prisoner too long." "Then let me prove it." Lisa turned to Kyle. "Show her what you showed me. Show her your home world." Kyle hesitated, then moved to a control station. The screen split, showing both Captain Brooks and an image of the Zephyrian homeworld. The sky that Lisa had flown through with its diamond clouds and shifting oceans. "This is where I was born," Kale said to Brooks. "It is beautiful, but my people have forgotten how to see its beauty. We have become so focused on survival that we have forgotten how to live." Brooks was quiet, staring at the images. "Captain," Lisa continued, "I have spent a month learning about their culture. They are not monsters. They are a lost people who have made themselves into weapons because they forgot what they were trying to protect. Some of them want to remember." "And you believe we should help them?" "I believe we should try. The alternative is more war, more death, more hatred on both sides." Captain Brooks looked at something off-screen, probably talking to her officers. Finally, she said, "What exactly are you proposing?" "A ceasefire. Time to explore whether our species can find a way to coexist. I will remain here as a liaison to continue the work we have started." "That is insane. You are asking me to trust the enemy with one of my officers." "You are asking me to trust humans with my life," Kyle said. "Perhaps it is time for both our species to take risks for peace instead of for war." Vex stepped forward. "I do not approve of this plan. But I have seen what this human has done to my officers. She has made them different. If there is a chance that her methods could end this conflict, perhaps it is worth exploring." Brooks was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I will need to contact my superiors. This decision is beyond my authority." "While you are deciding," Lisa said, "could you stop shooting at each other? It is hard to discuss peace while people are dying." Brooks almost smiled. "Very well. All ships cease fire. Maintain defensive positions, but do not engage unless fired upon." The explosions outside stopped. The bridge became quiet except for the hum of machinery. "Lisa," Brooks said, "are you sure about this?" Lisa looked around the bridge at the Zephyrians who had become her friends, at Kale who had offered her wonders beyond imagination, at Vex who was willing to risk everything for the chance of peace. "No, Captain. I am not sure about anything, but I know that someone has to try something different or this war will go on forever." "Very well. I will relay your proposal to Earth Command. But Lisa, if this is a trick..." "It is not a trick, Captain. It is a hope." The communication ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Vex turned to Lisa. "You realize that if your people reject this proposal, you will likely die here." "I know. But if they accept it, maybe both our species will have a chance to live." Kyle moved to stand beside her. "Whatever happens, you have already changed us. You have shown us that there is more to existence than conquest." Lisa looked out at the stars, where human and Zephyrian ships waited in tense formation. She had anticipated death when she was first captured, but Kale had offered her pleasure instead. Now she had offered both their species something even more valuable. She had offered them hope.